Hello and welcome to this Android development tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn how to make a calculator app. So we open Android Studio and create a new project. And the first thing we will do is change our layout file. So we go to our layout folder and we will delete the file that is created by default. We will uncheck these two boxes and we will go to the layout folder, right click, new, and layout resource file. Here we will call it the same name it was previously. It doesn't really matter, or you can call it something like just my layout. But in the second field we will delete the root element and we will type linear layout. We will click on OK, and since we changed the name, we go to our main activity.java file. As you can see now, this name is in red, so we have to change it to our new name, which in my case was my layout. Okay, everything is fine. Now the first thing we're gonna do is we will go to our main layout.xml file, change to text view. Okay, we will close this lower menu right here, and as you can see we have an empty screen in which we can create our UI elements for our calculator. So as you know, a calculator at the top has a screen that shows their numbers. For that we will use a text view. So we open an element and type text view. On width we will set to match parent. On the height we will set it maybe to 100 dp. We can change that later if we need to do so. Okay, and we will add an ID. The ID we will use this time will be calculator screen. Okay, that's what we call this text view. Okay, right now we will create the buttons of the calculator. For that we need a horizontal layout. So we will open a linear layout object. We will set the width to match parent, the height to 0 dp, the weight to 1, and the orientation to horizontal. Okay, inside this linear layout we will specify our calculator buttons. So for example, we open an element and type button. The width of the button will be 0 dp, the height will be match parent, and the weight will be 1. Why do we use these weights? Well, because this calculator will automatically fill any screen device you run it. Even if you have a 3-inch device or a big 10-inch tablet, it will work fine because of weights. We will check that in a moment. Okay, so the first button every button has to have an ID, so we will add an ID. For example, this can be N7, so we can say this button will contain the number 7, and we also will set the text to the number 7, so this will be our number 7. As you can see, the number 7 appears here, but maybe we wanted to make it a little bit larger, so we will set text size to 25 sp. Okay, and now we have our button. If we want to order the text layout, we will press Ctrl Alt L and the IDE will reformat the text for us. Okay, now what happens if we add another button right next to it? So it will be put to the right side of it because this is a horizontal linear layout. So we will copy this. We won't be writing a lot more because we will copy stuff we already made and change the values we need. So we will paste this here, and you can have these 2 7 buttons right here. Okay, this is what we want. Please check that you have these 2 7 buttons right here. If you are okay with that, then we are going to change the ID and the text field. So instead of N7, this will be N8, and instead of 7, it will display the number 8. Okay, we will do the same and paste another one next to it, and this of course will be the button 9. Okay, and the text 9. Okay, we need also operations, so we can put another button, and these we can change the ID to, for example, maybe addition, maybe division, whatever you may want. In this case we will do division. Okay, and the sign of division will be a kind of just a forward slash, like that. You can have a different symbol if you want, like the traditional calculator's division, or you can just have this, which is the programmer's sign for division. Okay, so now we have 4 elements on our linear layout. Now we will copy the whole linear layout, so these 4 buttons and the linear layout that contains them, and we will paste it below this. So we will duplicate it below it. Okay, as you can see, now we have 2 rows of buttons, and of course we have to change the buttons right here. So in the one that we copied and paste, the one that is below, we will change it to N4, the first element, with 4 as text, N5 as ID, and 5 as text, and 6 as ID, and 6 as text. As you can see, the change I made, you can see the effects they have right here on the preview. Okay, so check your preview and make sure it's the same as mine. And now the last one of these, we will change division ID with multiplication. Okay, multiplication. Okay, and the sign for multiplication will be a star, kind of a the sign for programmers. Again, you can use other signs of traditional calculators if you want, but I will be using these. Okay, we have 2 rows. Now we will create the third one by pasting the previously copied button, and on this row we will set N1 text 1 and 2 text 2 and N3 text 3. Okay, and these will be subtraction. And the subtraction sign, of course. And we will create the last one, the last row, and we will change these 2. So what can we put here? Maybe we can put the dot here as the first element. So as ID we will put dot, and text will be a dot, and here should be 0 because 0 is missing. So N0 text 0. Instead of 9 it can be equals. That will be useful. Equals, equal sign. Okay, and on the last one we will use, of course, addition. So, oops, okay, addition. So as you can see right here, we have our UI for calculator. We have 4 rows of 4 buttons each row, and you can understand how linear layouts work. So if we go to the top of your file, you can see that your root element, which is linear layout, has vertical orientation. This means the child elements, that means the elements inside it, will be put vertically one after another. The first element is a text view, which we call the calculator screen. The second element is a linear layout, and then we have each row is a linear layout. Okay, so maybe we want to make the screen a little bit larger. Maybe we can change how it will look in different devices. For example, if we change it to maybe generic phones and tablets, and we choose a 4-inch device, we can look how it will look like on those devices. Okay, so it's, for now, I think it's kind of okay how it's looking. And but if we change the text, so if we set the text view something to text here and say, for example, hello, we can see that the text size is so small and it's not centered. So we would change this, of course. We would change the text size to maybe 25 sp, and we will change the gravity to center. And maybe if we want to center horizontally and to the to the right side of it, we can go and say right center vertical, and we can also specify a different specification right here, or maybe we can just test with layout gravity. And no, we don't use that. That's not okay. So we have to center vertical, and here we need a way to specify that we want to move the text to the right side, but we also need a kind of margins to make it look better. So margin, we will set it to maybe 10 dp. Okay, as you can see right here, it has some margin for it to look a little bit better. So 10 dp. And I think I will leave it here, but maybe we will change this to just center. So while we figure out how can we make this go to the other side. Okay, so we will delete the hello text field, and now we will go to our main activity.java file to initialize our calculator. The first thing we will initialize will be the calculator screen. So we will type final text view calculator screen, and we assign that to find view by id r.id that calculator screen. Okay, next we have to initialize the buttons we have right here. So to initialize them, we have two options really. We can create a click listener for every one of them, or we can create a click listener for all of them. Okay, so in either case we will have to define all the buttons. There's also a way in which we can specify the on-click element here, and that will be called when we tap the icon. But I will do it as a object definition right here. So we will go and say final button, and we will start with n0, which is the first button, is equal to find view by id r.id that n0, and we do the same with every other button. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we have n0 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, 8 and 7 and 8 and 9. And here we will have, for example, dot equals and 4 operations. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, and of course division. And we have to change the IDs too. So n0 and 1, okay, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. And here we can say dot equals addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, so we have all of our buttons, and also we have our text view. So that's cool. Now we will create an on-click listener, and we will say final on-click listener, calculator listener. We will name it that way, and we'll set it to new on-click listener. Okay, and when this thing is clicked, as you can see, a view element is passed. So to know which button was clicked, we have to get the ID of the view. So we will type final int ID, and we will set it to b.getID. b.getID, okay. Pretty easy. Now we can use the switch keyword right here. For example, switch, and here we start using the cases. For example, here we will switch ID, and we will set case in case the ID is r.id.n0, for example. Okay, we will do something, and we will of course break, and we will do the same for every button we have. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And we change the IDs of every one of these. So n0 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 dot equals, and I think 4 operations, right? Yeah, 4 operations. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And now we know every object or action that our calculator can have. But now we have to set the listener, okay, the click listener. So just after this, we will go and say B0, which is button 0. Was B0 or N0, I think. That set on click listener, and we will say calculator listener. Again, we will do this for all of our buttons. So 16 times. We have already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And we change our name, the name of the element, like N1, N2, N3, N4, N5, N6, N7, N8, and 9. Dot equals, okay, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So now we are ready to start doing everything the calculator does. So we will do that in the next video. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you later. Bye.